All right, so let's bring this Photoshop document that including a lot of um, dimension rendered objects and bring this one into After Effects to complete this circle to finish this project. First, we're going to create a new composition from a footage. And then we select the image we just did in Photoshop, and we input as a composition written linear sizes. Click open, and then we'll, this for this option, you basically just hit OK. And here we have this 1080p show as color icon here. So what you need to do is just double click to open this composition. Now we have all this, layers show as multiple layers here. We can kind of convert those elements here. What next is we're going to first highlight all the layers and turn to 3D. Once we turn all the objects into 3D, including the background, we start to disappear those things because this one we currently don't have any active camera for this thing yet. So we're going to add a new camera. From the layers menu, okay, layer, new, and camera. And we're going to create, because camera is for 3D thing. So once we convert everything to 3D, we need a camera. So here is the option. At this moment, you have the option to customize what the focal length, okay, to of this camera to take this current picture. So which means you can at this moment you can define to pick which zoom focal lenses. So most of the case, we recommended using a little bit shorter lenses, okay, like a 15, because the result will be kind of dramatic. So in this case, let's do 20, okay, so 20 millimeters. Hit OK. Now we have this camera. Okay, so we can see from its camera view. Now we can see this one from, let's do a customer view. From here, we can see is this background image really just kind of like, because we turn this one to 3D as well, so it's actually on the top of all the layers to cover all the objects. The key concept is once we convert the things into a 3D mode, we still have this one in the same z-axis, which means the same distance from your camera. We needed to make modification, change those things for each individual object. So then we'll be able to see those things. Okay, so let's try to to show the process with the new version of After Effects. Have the new 3D control tools here, which make things much more easier than before. Okay, so let's try to make the better view of this thing. We needed to switch it to two views, which will help us to understand in the current thing. Also, I want to keep, kind of switch those two. It's based on the personal preference. I like the left hand side to be customer view 1, so it means quite close to this one. And all right, so and then we can also do is to for this side, we can also do is to change this one to active camera, so we know it's like a see-through from the camera. So custom is one and active camera. Okay. And then from here, let's try to select the object itself. So this is a kind of like a background. Um, and we're going to drag this one z-axis to bring this one back. So let's say it's very far from there. Okay, then what we need to do is to resize this object from center and also keep the aspect ratio. What this one does when we all know when you change the distance, when the view distance, the object will be looks smaller when they move back from you. So in this case, once we create this space, this distance, we will need to resize to make this one visually close to what we have before. Okay, so let's try to do the same thing. Option, let's kind of resize here. Okay, so kind of like make this one very close to it was before visually, but now we know that is a little bit different now. Okay, so then let's try to find those objects. You can see there are so many objects that like are hidden there. Okay, so kind of put it there. They just needed to kind of like a little bit of space. We're gonna separate them into the space. Okay, you can also select the object from here, but something is not very clear. So for example, I want to make this one kind of a little bit close to me. The one key idea is you need to separate this one, you know, along the distance, along the z-axis. So let's do this one as well, and we can drag this one. Try to grab the z-axis, the blue one. Okay, and also make some changes. The one idea is, try to just adjustment the z-axis first, and then do some other adjustment. For example, I want this one to be kind of like close to here. Okay, quite close to me. And then a little bit later disappeared. Just bring this one to here. Okay. All right. It's actually quite a time-consuming work. Okay. But I think we can do this one. Just simply do it. Okay. All right. You can always just resize. Yeah. Like on the front of the camera, but a little bit of quality. So if you have the plan to create the similar effects for some object, you may just rendering a better quality, a higher pixel, so it's give you more room for you to create those effects. Okay. So basically, we just created this camera, and so the camera can fly into the object to see different elements. Again, this object all is not like a real 3D object. Like a After Effects can also do 3D, a real 3D thing, but in this case we'll try to create something a little bit different. Okay, let's just hide this one so we can make some adjustment. put things behind. Okay, turn this one on. You can always just kind of change from a different view and then try to see if you can really separate those elements. Okay. This will also give you the opportunity for you to select those objects. Z-axis, so a little bit close. Maybe here. All right, it's kind of like create this basic arrangement. Let's do some adjustments. All right. Okay, so now we have so many objects that we can actually create, like a walkthrough or fly through object. So let's create a very simple one for the camera move. So I'm going to create to do a very simple motion that we can, just kind of change the z-axis to see how the things may look like. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. What I'm gonna do is to right now to just key the camera motion. Because this is very simple with the new update of After Effects, we'll be able to just key those elements very easily. So key the position of this camera, the current camera position, and then just move to the end to adjustment the other side. So currently it's at 10 seconds. I'm going to change this one to a little bit shorter time, like do 5 seconds. So you want to go here to type, Command K to change this one to 500. 500, so a little bit short time and fast, so we can see the content. Okay, so at the beginning we have this one keyed its current look, and then to the end, when this one to change the position. So this is the X, Y, and Z. So basically we're gonna change the third number here. So I kind of want to make this one fly. Okay, so now I have this one down there. I think this automatically created this object, created this keyframe. It's to take time to render this image. Okay, so let's do full rendering. Okay, I think it's pretty nice. So we can now have this one. Yeah, it's quite slow. But by the way, the transition, is also the travel distance is too small. So we can make this one kind of even longer, and to create some effects like you view from the backside. This is a new way to control it because okay, let's see, we want this one back. Okay. So because they have the same view interesting point, so I think that could be a good option for this project to kind of like flip this thing, flip this camera, like you orbit this camera. Okay. All right, so each individual element can also do animation. So we're going to show several objects that have to do to make them also animate during this the camera move. So we want to keep this camera very subtle move, but the object itself can also move and rotate. So for example, let's do a very quick selection. We select this one, and we're going to do so this is the probably with this layer, and what we're going to do is to key the rotation layer. So what you can do to create this one is Option R on Windows computer, but you can also do R. Select this layer, hit R, and you have those R orientation here. So just key the orientation at this moment, and then kind of move it to the end. Okay, and it's just kind of a rotate. Let's say this one could go. I think it's X. I think it should be Y rotation. No, Z rotation. Okay, so that would be the Z rotation. So let's make this one like a turn 360-degree for this one. Let's do a little shorter, 180. Okay. So we see this object actually move when actually rotate when you change. Okay. So we'll do this kind of copy this same pattern. So this one we can move this one, hit R. So key that into the end. We rotate this one. For example, 350. So it's going to be a little bit faster than that object. Okay, I'm going to lower this so we can see the result a little bit fast. Okay, so this one actually we need a different number, like 180. Yeah, no, we have a more object that can spin. So let's try to get a more object. And sometimes you may find it's very hard to select an object. In that situation, always you can try to change it to a different view. So for example, this one, I'm going to do a very quick rotation as well. We can test the preview of this one. So we can maybe make it this one using the same 380. We think there is some detail. This object that is keep move. Okay. So this one have a different anchor point because when we're rendering, maybe there's some other image or other elements on the layer on a different part of this layer. So what we can do is to basically just do this one is fine. We can or hit Y to change the anchor point. But in this case, I would say in this case, let's just keep this very simple. Just go here. Because we select this object, we can just do the quick rotation and or maybe position change. Okay, so I will do P and the Shift R. So we have those two key, those position and orientation. Once we got it here. Okay, so for the rotation, we just move slightly down here, and the position, just change to a different position. Okay, so bring this one to the end of the timeline. you see those objects still move. It's going to be very interesting. We can do actually quite a lot of things using this concept. Okay, so let's do one more object. And so I'm going to so this time I'm going to rotate it in different way. For example, the X rotation. So it's kind of a flip this one to the other side. So we can do this one for the X rotation. So active X rotation, hit end, X rotation one time. Let's preview. So you see this object is kind of a flip here. And also do this one as well. So R, and change this one to Y rotation, hit end, and then change this one to one time. So you see this object that can flip in different way. Yeah, it's keep flipping here. Yeah, more dynamic. Yeah, we seems got the full speed, so we can see this how this one look. Think about that is the animation, and you can create a title to show the logos or something else, just like this way. Okay, a very nice camera, and then we'd be able to see the new camera control and the new 3D control in the After Effects 2021. And this is I think in this version there are so many updates especially for the 3D space. I think for our project should be try this control to make a nice to create those experience.